Should I quit my job and start my own business? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of that. And some of you, you're ready to jump. Some of you, you should never jump. Stay tuned to learn if that's you. So specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of quitting and starting your own company. I'm going to talk about just doing it right now. Like, just give it a little test. I have a skill set process where let's just test to see if it's going to work for you. And number three, which is super fun, if you need funding, how do you get it? I have lots of ways. Money's being printed everywhere. It's everywhere. And my favorite is I have an exact formula. Those of you who are ready to do it, you can do it in 90 days. So what are the pros and cons of starting your own business and jumping out of that job? Well, number one, let's just kind of analyze, like, what do you do for a job? Have you done it a long time? There's some of you who I'm meeting like right now, and you may only have a few years left. I meet a lot of military people. In fact, I have an Air Force fighter pilot that's doing my next book. He made his kids millionaires. I made my kids millionaires on paper by 10. We're writing a book together coming out early in 2022. So for him, or a lot of military folks, depending on where you are, or big corporate, executives, or just you've done a long time. Like, I have somebody that works at Apple. I have somebody who works at Tesla. They're like only a few years from a massive, big pension or lifetime benefit retirement plan. So let's look at what you have before you just say, I don't want the job anymore. Because I get it. I worked at a job for like a minute in my life and it felt like prison. And I'm not very employable. I was written up by, the HR department for insubordination a lot. Can you imagine? So I get it. I get that you don't want to, but some of you, now you're leaving a golden goose. Remember they call them the golden handcuffs? That's what we have to evaluate. So before you do anything, let's evaluate the pros and cons of the job. And what happens for a lot of people, regardless, if you want the tax benefits of the United States, which has the best tax code in the world. Here's an example. I'm married to a Canadian. They have about 3,500 pages of tax code. The United States, 81 to 83,000 pages of tax code. So why do people flock to the United States to want to start companies? Because we have the greatest tax incentive. So what happens when you have a job and you have a business, you get a better tax overall benefit. So yes, you absolutely, regardless of quitting, let's make that a different conversation, you have to start a company. So how do you start today? Let's use basic skills. Like, I call it your 21st century lemonade stand, like whatever you're good at. I'm going to actually use my Tesla guy, Carl. He'll love that I'm using him in the video. He is genius. Like, he is world known for his engineering on components, and he works at Tesla. So that doesn't make sense. And has no plan to leave, but he needs a business for better tax strategies. So what could he do? And we've been brainstorming. And I said, well, you're really good at this. I said, think of all the younger kids, the next generations who are coming up that want to know, like, what's it like to be a component engineer? What's it like to do electrical engineering? What is all this? It's so different and not competitive. You could just teach people, be a mentor of some sort. So he's starting to teach, mentor, brainstorm, creative ideas, all stuff that's like super fun. I mean, all these gamers and all these like other, people that are out there that love all the technology. You can tell I can't, by the way, I'm speaking to you, but I can tell you he's having a blast and he's making money. Right? I'm going to go to another guy. Huge union job. And he's a very high level manager, which means big money, which means big taxes. So he loves to weld and he does welding on the side. And in fact, I bought one of these amazing lamps from him. It's this beautiful lamp that he has welded by all this metal art. So he's put different components of different parts together, even the kind of the light bulb he put together. It's stunning. And he comes to me and he said, what do you think, Laurel? Like, this is a little hobby I'm doing in my garage. He said, what should I charge for it? Like 30, 40 bucks? I'm like, have you looked up what that actually would take? I said, that's more like 300 or 400. You forgot a zero. So like, there's so many things you guys just could do just to test it. So the job is a different analysis, whether you quit or not. And I think for a lot of you, you put it together. It's job versus entrepreneurialism. And I'd say it's both, no matter what. And whether you actually quit the job, let's see if we can get the entrepreneurial venture up and moving first and fast. And we're going to bootstrap a lot of it. If you need some funding, once you're incorporated, right, currently, Small Business Administration, the SBA, is giving so many loans to companies all over the country right now, like a lot, $150,000. And that is not for you to live on. That is growth for your company. You say, well, what would I buy with that? Well, you buy a database, you get incorporated. That's going to cost a little bit of money. You might get your trust tidied up and organized. You might get some proper life insurance. You might for sure buy a database system. You need a CRM, right? Which is a contact relationship manager system. This is tracking all the leads and people interested. So there's some business expenses that you're going to want to use that for. And if you don't use it all, just park it or go invest it for a little minute, right? Have your company do it. So there's a lot of ways to get funding, and people forget the basics. Your local bank and your credit card company. People forget to go to them all the time. They give a lot of money to successful businesses, and a lot of you don't go back to them. And here's the script. You say, you know, I'm taking 2021 business really seriously, and I'm on track to make whatever you're on track to make, $50, $60, $120, $200,000 this year. I need to do a business investment. I need a bigger line of credit. I need a bigger line on my credit card. And I don't want to pay as much interest. And the first person will tell you no and say, I really need to talk to a manager. This is really serious. And you will be shocked how much money you can get available to you. The real strategy here, I was going to say trick, but it's not a strategy, is stop spending things on lifestyle. This is not about lifestyle spending. This is about asset spending. You're growing your company with this money. And then we're going to evaluate. So I'm going to give you a gift at the end that'll help you get started today, right? Which is really important. So I want you just to start. Then we'll evaluate your company, see where your pros and cons are and whether you should or should not leave. And let's talk about the formula if you decide to leave. I love this, and it works. I've done this for I don't know how many thousands, not hundreds, thousands of people, and they quit their job in 90 days. So before I go to the formula, which has helped thousands of people, thousands quit in 90 days or less, I want you to subscribe to my channel. If you're enjoying this, share with your friends, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you're learning. Tell me what else you want to know. And we're going to be in touch about this. You ready for the formula? I love it. And I just made it up one day. It was, again, common sense. So a lot of people, when we, there's an analysis of your job and your business and you got it up and running. So let's just say you take home from your job, right? Because the way you get paid on a W-2, like on a job paycheck, is a whole bunch gets taken out. So we're looking at the part you bring home. See, the biggest mistake is that the goal is I want to replace my income. That is not the goal, right? Because if you make $80,000 after all the taxes, what do you really take home? So let's just say you take home $6,000. You don't take home 80, you take home 6, so that's 72, right? And that's actually too much. You'd actually probably take home less. So let's just call it 5. For easy math, you take home 5 in cash, gets deposited in your bank account. So are we really replacing 80 or replacing 5? We're replacing 5,000 because you're used to living on that cash flow, right? That's the money you're used to living on. So that's really all we have to get to. Now, at the same time, remember, we're going to have this business started and you're going to be making money. And it's going to be really part-time because you got a full-time job. So in the mornings and lunch, at night, on the weekends, you're going to be doing this other thing. Well, if you can get that thing to halfway point, this is the formula. 5,000 is the number we got to hit. So not your salary. And you get your business to 2,500, then it's time to quit. That's quit time. So a lot of times we can get that done in a few weeks, maybe a month. Then you quit because now you're going to give that 40 plus hours you gave your job to you, and you're going to skyrocket past the other 2,500. In fact, most of my students who do that formula will get to 7,500 and 10,000 a month really quick because you have the wrong formula. You're looking at the wrong numbers. Right? You're not looking at the taxable numbers because as an entrepreneur, you get to make money, do all your deductions, then you pay tax. And believe me, do I have an amazing tax team, like tax return reviews for you and really dig in and make sure that this is going to work. So this is not an emotional decision. This is a very logical math equation. How much do you need to make? When do you got to quit? And you quit at the halfway point. As soon as you see the revenue, when you get that 2,500 to 5,000 is cash flow, is cash what you need, you go for it. Then we skyrocket. What do you do with the extra money? Say you get to 7,500. You hire a team. That's the first thing you got to do. So the rest of this I have on a video about in your business and on your business. It's a phenomenal video that I want you to go to the link below. Click in the description. You're going to click, and it's going to take you to a video that I did about how to be in or on your business, and you're going to love it.